So here they've told us what the parent graph is supposed to be. That was nice of them. Use y equals 2 to the x. And we have to graph y equals 2 to the negative x plus 2. Now, before we start, notice this one has a horizontal reflection and a horizontal translation, but it's not in factored form. So you would have to take an extra step and write it in factored form. Now, they told us that the parent graph is 2 to the x, but just like before, I'm going to put just a box around that 2 and that x to remind myself that's my parent graph. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw a quick sketch of y equals 2 to the x so that I can see what my parent graph looks like and I can think about what's going to happen to those 2 points. So I have 0, 1 and 1, 2 and my asymptote at y equals 0. Moving from left to right, we hit all of our stretches, compressions, reflections. What's going to happen to y? Anything? Multiply by 3. And what's going to happen to x? X by negative 1. So we're going to get 0, 3 and negative 1, 6. Continuing to move left to right, the next thing you hit are your translations. The minus 2 is going to do what? Right 2. Do we move up or down at all? No. So that's the only thing. 2 to the right, so we'll get 2, 3 and 1, 6. The only thing that's going to affect our asymptote is if we move it up or down. But in this case, we didn't move it up or down at all, so our asymptote is going to stay at y equals 0. So for our final graph, we are going to have our asymptote still at y equals 0. Label our points. Two, 3, 1, 6. And once you've got your 2 points, you can see that your graph is going to be decreasing. So now we have our new graph. We can answer some of these questions. Is it increasing or decreasing? It's decreasing. What are the intercepts? Well, there's an asymptote at y equals 0, so there's no x-intercepts. But it sure looks like there should be a y-intercept. How do we find a y-intercept? Plug in 0 for x. Go to your original equation, plug that 0 in. What are we going to get? We're going to get 2 to the power 2, which is 4, times 3 is 12. So even though that point didn't appear when we graphed it originally, we can always do that. We can always make a table of values to find more points. We can always plug in 0 to find a y-intercept. So we can write that our y-intercept is 12. Equation of our asymptote, still y equals 0. The domain is everything, and the range y is bigger than 0. So we're going to take 5 minutes to try number 10.